Hey guys, welcome to my second Football Manager 2013 video, and this time we are going to be doing some tactics. Now, I have previously done a Liverpool tactics video on FM12 and it proved to be very popular. I think it's one of the most viewed videos ever on my channel. So I thought I'd do one in FM13 with obviously it being new. This is still the beta obviously, and I thought I'd give a few people maybe a bit of hints and tips, perhaps if you are going Liverpool for some reason, or and obviously as well to give you a bit of insight as to how I'm going to approach the new save. Now, I will talk about why I haven't started the new save. There was one very big reason as to why I haven't started the new save yet, which I will get to at the end of this video. So, but if you are here just for the tactics, because I realise that these do go a bit further than the sub boxes sometimes, so I will get right into it. The first thing, of course, is to point out I am not Brendan Rodgers. So what that means is I will not be using a 4-3-3 formation. However, I have finally settled on a backup tactic, and that is obviously I would definitely recommend doing one. By the way, you really do need to do one, because what happens is every time, and I don't know if it'll happen in this game, also we haven't got that far yet. Whether a February slump or a mid-season slump happens, I mean, it's been a case in all FMs for years, and I assume it will happen in this one as well. We've all had it, where you're going on great, you think you're going to win the title, and then February, March comes around, and you just die on your arse, and there really is no explanation for it. And it's my theory is that the fact that the computer or the AI or whatever has sort of worked out your tactics, and this is then when you use the combination of using a backup tactic and also raising the morale, using team meetings and all that type of thing. Obviously, FM13 will probably introduce a few more new things into that equation, but that is just from experience. So we're going to chuck in the old 4-3-3, but I will be altering this as we go on. But so I'm going to start with the starting tactic 4-4-2. I've always used 4-4-2. It's just how I roll. And I think it's the most effective formation given the best balance in attack and defence, but also suits my teams. I like to control the midfield, essentially is what I like to do. I like to control the midfield via the wings, but also stamp my authority down in centre midfield. Whether that's just common sense or not, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to sort of show you firstly my sort of first 11, who I would pick out of this team. Obviously, when we do come around to the Let's Play, or if in your case, if you're already playing or whatever, if you are Liverpool, chances are you've bought another striker, or you've recalled Andy Carroll, which I don't even think you can actually, but or you will have another striker other than Barini, Suarez, and Pacheco, because let's be honest here, that's not adequate striker cover, is it? Let's be honest here, we've got Suarez, maybe Barini, Pacheco, then adequate. No, I don't think he is. So we're obviously going to compensate. I might bring in Carroll. In fact, I will go get him from the reserves, because I need someone to stand in for the probable striker you will inevitably have to buy. As obviously, as I say, 3 strikers, 2 of which being extremely young players, really isn't going to cut it. So let's get in. Obviously, Reina is going to be the goalkeeper. That really is a bit of a given. Right back now. Glenn Johnson is wanted. He does appear to be wanted at the start. Bizarrely wanted by Chelsea and City. I've loaded this game up a few times now and he's been wanted at the start, but that does interest me. In fact, I'm not going to sell him, by the way. I'm just to let you know. But it does interest me, because obviously Chelsea, former player, but City, I don't see. Why would City want him, especially not in real life? I don't think he's good enough for City. he's too much haphazard. He's too haphazard in defence. Anyway, I'm going to still play him. As I say, this is my first 11. This is who I would pick at full strength. I just want to play. I'll go over a few other combinations as well. Obviously, centre-back Martin Skell, that's a given as well. Now, Aga, for some reason, is out for 2 to 4 months. I'm not sure whether that will happen or appear in the full game. I don't think he's out injured currently either. I don't think he is anyway. But he's injured there, so listen, you're just going to have to take it. 2 players obviously here I really would recommend you give a chance to very early on. Sebastian Coates, we've all seen before, he's 4-star, really 4-star potential, wow. Which, as you know, if you just really want a good, just simple glance at how good a player can be or is, or ability, I think that was ability, however, it is going to be in context of your team, so obviously It's very, very, very rare. It's when you hit the head heights if you're City, or if the equivalent of Manchester City in a few years' time, or wherever that, of course, you will find a 5-star player. 4 stars are usually the best, although you will get the very, very, very rare occasion where you'll find a 4.5-star player, in which he will probably be Lionel Messi. So also Danny Wilson, who for some reason the game really seems to rate. I don't know. Maybe I haven't. Actually, yeah, I'm going to say I'm being perhaps a little bit unfair on the kid here when I say this. But any time I've seen him, he hasn't looked that great. If I'm going to be honest, anyone from Scotland, or I think we bought him from Rangers. Any Rangers fans obviously will, back me up on this, or say the opposite. But obviously I have barely really seen him. But the game seems to rate him highly. So I'm going to give him a chance. But personally, if you can't have I'd go with Quartes. Always put the youth before the experience, in my opinion. The only time I probably would play Carragher would be, for example, in the Europa League, or perhaps against a slightly lesser, weaker team. But other than that, your main centre-back pairing, obviously, Scale and Aya, and then Quartes, and then Wilson. Bear in mind, obviously, Wilson you would want to consider him as a main part of that core centre-back pairing there. And obviously at left back there we've got Jose Enrique. Don't forget Martin Kelly as well, who of course can play at centre back, but again my personal preference is to play him at right back, but obviously do what you want with that. I've got no problem with him at centre back. So then on the right, now I prefer personally to go with what have I done there? To go with 2 wingers. Bear with me, I'm still getting used to the new interface, excuse me. On the right here, probably going to stick with Raheem Sterling. Obviously, he's young. He scored against Reading the other day, but bear in mind he's not going to be this amazing winger out of the blocks. He is only 17 still. Okay, his potential is absolutely startling. 4.5 stars. See what I mean? Okay, he's not necessarily Lionel Messi. I've kind of contradicted myself there, but when you see that, you know what you're getting: a special talent. Obviously, he's only 17, as I say, not the finished article yet. Don't go crazy if he doesn't, perform every single game. There has been games in real life where you've gone, he's been a bit out of sorts today, or he hasn't even quite been able to get into the game. They are still going to happen. He's 17. What were you doing when you were 17? Were you sitting on your lazy arse? Look at this kid. He's earning loads and loads of money, and he's playing for playing for Liverpool. So there you go. Anyway. Centre mid, we're going to have my personal preference here would be Steven Gerrard, who I'm going to play in an advanced playmaker role in attack, and I'm also going to have here Joe Allen. Now please just ignore obviously the conditions and stuff. I've literally just loaded up a game just for the sake of here. The 2 players how I'm going to have this would be Gerrard and Allen. Gerrard is the advanced playmaker, because I can't think of a better suited role for Gerrard than the playmaker, and Joe Allen as the deep lying playmaker. So 2 playmakers there. Obviously Joe Allen perhaps with the shorter stuff, Steven Gerrard with the longer stuff, if you know what I mean, with the passing and so on. If that doesn't work, however, obviously if you find Allen doesn't really work with that, you've also got the 2 options of either box-to-box midfielder or ball-winning midfielder. I usually, as I say, go with the DLP. If not, try the ball-winning midfielder. I think that is, again, another role he could be suited to. And if you're not finding the best out of Gerrard on the AP, try box-to-box. On the left, this is where things get a little bit tricky. Who do you pick? Do you pick a Sadie? Do you pick Cole? I'm probably going to go with Joe Cole personally. Again, in real life, he is somewhat of a joke at the moment. Although, strangely, he is yellow, which I think is not the best. Which I've forgotten what it actually means. What does it always? I've actually used that one. Is it going to highlight it? It's not going to say. Basically, it means he's not absolutely comfortable in that position. And I think I might change my mind there. Yeah, shall we go with Downing? All right. This is what I mean. You really do have to build this squad. It's a real building process. I probably would go with Cole, but if he's not working, I'd go with Downing. But just for the sake of it now, because Cole, I might have to retrain Cole back into that left midfield position. See, his report isn't great. He's 30. His wages are Jesus, holy mother of Lord. That is insane for a player who is brutally average. Look at that weight. That is pathetic. Anyway, And up front, obviously, Suarez. I think that really should go without saying. I'm still trying to find the best role for Suarez at the moment on this game. I've gone through a few reports and stuff. However, just for now, I found on FM 12 his best role was poacher. It's simple as that, poacher. However, bear in mind, obviously, you can play him in all sorts of positions. He's very versatile. You can play. I was thinking maybe complete forward, trequartista, but on FM 12, obviously, I realise it is a different game, but let me just obviously tell you that he scored, I think in like 2014-15, for those who were watching way back, then he scored 45 goals in one season, which was then and ended up being a record 30 years still down the line. So, that's Suarez in the poacher position. However, bear in mind, be versatile with him, give him a few goes. Now, this is obviously, you've got a choice here. Barini, Pacheco, Carroll / new signing. As I say, if you are going to make a new signing, it has to be up front. Personally, I mean, I stressed before about maybe wingers. Obviously, okay, we've got Raheem Sterling. I think that side's okay. He can play on the left and the right. We have Cole. We have Downing, Henderson. Yeah, okay. Asaidi. Yeah, Barini maybe. Okay. We're okay down the side, but we desperately need a striker. So personally, I would go with either Andy Carroll, who I would play in a target man role. I keep clicking that. What is it doing? What is it doing? I'm trying to click AF. There you go. Obviously, Carroll is a target man. That really should go without saying, to be honest. That's kind of obvious. Or the new signing. No, so I can't say what new signing you've got. I mean, you could have found a wonder kid or someone, or you might have looked out on someone. It is always just where it's going to the... Oh, for God's sake, what's with this little menu? As I say, best roles as ST. It's very easy. I know you obviously got him in attack as a target man. Obviously poacher as well. But, obviously advanced... Whatever that is. Sorry, I mean... I think the capture software is making it lag a bit. Advanced forward and target man are essentially your two main... your two main roles for him there. And obviously Suarez, again, if we look real quick, deep lying forward. Listen, as I say, if it has changed to DLF, then fair enough. But as I say, that's what I found with poacher. So we're just going to take a few players out now. This mostly won't change, if I'm going to be honest. The players who I would probably change, I think this is the core of my team right here. Okay, that is the core team. We got Reina, Johnson, Skrtel, Enrique, Gerrard and Suarez, the experienced heads mostly. Who would be the other centre-back pairing? Now, Danny Wilson, again, I'm always in favour. This is going to maybe perhaps a second 11 now. Again, it's a slightly weaker team, or someone who I don't rate. Maybe you're just being cocky here, I don't know. But as I said, with Danny Wilson, he seems to be really, really highly rated by the FM crew. So, yeah, he could work. So I'd go with Wilson over Carragher, but obviously bear in mind Carragher's always there if you ever need him. He's a great backup to have. And obviously, again, excluding Daniel Agger, he would be first choice, I guess, if it went for that injury. Martin Kelly will also get his chance, so to work them in rotation. However, obviously Johnson would still remain number one. On the right, I would probably have Jordan Henderson. I want to give him a proper go this time. A lot of people go, he's better when he's in centre mid. I'm going to give him a go in proper. However, the first time I play him, I'd try him on the right. Probably, though, as a wide midfielder. Just because I don't think he's not a natural winger like Raheem Sterling. If they have a lot of acceleration, if they have a good balance, then yeah, you probably want to play them as a winger. If they don't, which Jordan Henderson doesn't, then you want him as a wide midfielder. And then in the middle, I think I probably would have Lucas. However, obviously he's injured, since he is beginning to be a bit injury prone, which is quite annoying. You're going to have Nuri Sahin, who, let's see, best roles as MC. As you can see there, advanced, well, that would be there. Again, obviously you can see, going through a few here, deep lying, playmaker here, for example, if you go on the, you can see all the little things. I'm still trying to work this one out. Obviously, if the game says here, deep lying playmaker, as Thomas Jarl 4 stars, Nuri Sahin, again, I don't think you can go wrong personally with him, so obviously we'll stick him at DLP. It's mostly down to you, as I say, seeing what the player, what the player best one is. Obviously, we're going to look at here, for example, advanced playmaker, 4 stars of Steven Gerrard in attack, highlighting some of the key stats there, the key attributes. Obviously, his let's say his passing is 17. I think that really should go without saying. His balance is excellent. So even at age 32. And then I'd probably go with Asaidi if we're going to go with a team like that. Asaidi, I really like this kid. I think he has good potential, even though he's he's 23 now, so I thought he was a bit younger than that. But yeah, he looks quite good. He looked quite decent in Europe so far, and I'd like to see him more in the Premier League, personally. I think he's a lot better than Joe Cole, for example. And finally here, I would probably play Fabio Borini. So that's just a little thing there, obviously, about the 4-4-2. That's just to give you an idea of the type of tactics I'm going to be playing. Steven Gerrard running that midfield, obviously. Skrtel being the sort of figurehead at centre-back. Rain obviously keeping his place. Suarez relying on him a lot. But this is just, obviously, a little bit of what's to come. So we've got the 4-3-3 as well. I'm going to show you this now really quick. Probably going to be the same. Now, but one thing I'm going to do, which I think Rodgers does, is have 2 wide men. Because obviously if we have 4-3-3 as it was there, the default, there's no width at all, and I really do need the width. And quite frankly, I'd be very happy. In fact, I will swap them around. I'd be very happy to have this as it is. Probably have, let's say, okay, you want Gerrard. Let's see, Gerrard's an AP. I don't think it really matters what position they're in now. So I think you probably do want Gerrard actually in the middle. So let's put Gerrard to an AP. We're going to put Sahin to a deep lying playmaker. And what was Henderson? Again, deep lying playmaker. Let's see, support, 2 stars. Central midfielder. Let's see about attack. Again, so 2 stars roughly. Well, he's got 3.5 there. Let's see. So it's not really coming off, is it? Let's see, midfield role. Let's see, what's a good one? Attacking midfielder, attack. 1 star. So you can see he's more defensive minded, I think, maybe there. But I'm just going to leave it at that one. I think it is worth experimenting with what you want there with Henderson. Perhaps even against weaker teams to give yourself even more width. It might even be worth changing Johnson and Enrique to wing backs. However, I would only recommend doing it to perhaps 1. But also obviously you can apply it to 4-4-2, and you might even have your right winger, for example, coming back being a bit more defensive. So this is the 4-3-3. That's just a really quick insight. I'm not going to be using that one too much, but that is the main change I will do. A very big stressed change there, which is to put the wingers out on the sides there, not just up with Suarez, as it doesn't really personally help. Change focus now. This type of thing here. Oh, okay. Actually, no, we're not going to do it now. There's too much there's too much going on there. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to try. Go to team. I'm going to try and figure out how to get to here. Now this one is where I put my stamp on it. This is where you put your own stamp on, as I say. People do different things here. This is what I'm going to do. Don't take my word for it. This is in absolutely no way going to win you the title or anything. This is just what I do, and it has worked for me in the past. Whether it's going to work on FM13, I don't know. But I'm going to go with the shorter passing, disciplined freedom, usually stick with the default closing down, and the default tackling, and the default marking. I always drill the crosses. I'm a big fan of drilled crosses. Floating crosses have forever been a bane on FM and in the FM series. They don't do very well. The cross stands up, and because the majority of strikers I've always had, their heading is so poor. They mistime their headers so poorly, and the ball just goes over the bar. And yeah, I always just prefer the drill crosses. It's just, in my mind, it just always seems to work more. And stick to position with the roaming. Now the defensive line does often change depending on who you're playing, obviously. I usually push it up to somewhere around here, the top, like sort of normal push up around there. I usually stick it there. However, obviously if we are playing one of the bigger teams away, I usually will push that back a bit. Now width, as you all know, I'm a massive fan of width. I like it to be quite wide. Obviously in the 4-3-3 that's probably a bit overkill, but that's what I really like. I do like that. Focus passing, I don't think I've ever used that one actually. But as I say, these are just really quick ways of just sort of putting your own little spin on things. Finally, playmaker, I think this really should go without saying, Steven Gerrard. The target man, if you want to go with Suarez, then yes, and the target man supply, you're probably going to want it to... well, actually, I'd say mix. You probably do want to mix, unless obviously you are going to play Andy Carroll, especially on his own, in which case, obviously, you're going to want it to his head. And maybe, obviously, depending on who you sign, for example, if you sign, I don't know, again, a big, tall striker, you're probably going to want it to his head. It's pretty normal. Standard stuff as you'd expect. So that's just my little quick show into the tactics I'm going to use. I hope you found this, if you have come looking for a bit of tactical help, somewhat helpful. Hopefully I haven't been too obvious and just sort of gone saying, yeah, this is what this is, this is what this is, and this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to be using that 4-3-3 as a sort of nod to Brendan Rodgers. However, my main tactic and probably most advisable tactic is to, hang on, let them swap, is to use the 4-4-2. That's how I've always done it. The strategies, stick with standard most of the time. However, when you are playing at home, you most likely want to go to control or attacking. I don't change the style usually. I don't really know what that does. I've never really noticed a difference, quite frankly. So yeah, obviously set pieces, I think you kind of get these with the opening backroom staff. If you do it at the start of the season, you'll have your backroom staff come to you and say, I think Steven Gerrard should take free kicks, I think Jose Enrique should take throw-ins, and you'll have that there. So that's set for you. And obviously you can tinker about a lot more with certain players. For example, I can tell Luis Suarez to stop being a racist. No, not really. Really need to drop that now. One thing I will do a lot, okay, for some reason Gerrard, let's just swap these two. Steven Gerrard, as we all know, he's long shots. You probably want to move that up to sometimes, perhaps. I would not recommend that though. Everyone else, I do it long shots, rarely run from. Let's see, you can do all these type of things. I'm not going to go through every single player because you could be here till next week. But I usually just say to Steven Gerrard, yeah, he's one of the very, very few players I will let have long shots, because most of the time, as we've all seen on previous FMs, the amount of times where players will literally just get to the edge of the box and think, fuck this, and just shoot. And I mean, terrible. I mean, not even come close to score. And they'll do this 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 or 10 times a game, and it gets unbelievably frustrating. So, yeah, that's one thing I would say. Don't let too many players do it, unless obviously you're in the case of Steven Gerrard, who of course has an amazing long shot. Through balls as well, so that's I'm just going to highlight Steven Gerrard obviously because he's pretty easy, and I'm sure everyone will be wanting to put out their own little spin to him. You also give him a lot of creative freedom. I would also let him roam from position. I think that is something he has done, certainly do under Rafa Benitez. I've not really noticed that as such under Hodgson, Dalglish or Rodgers. I don't usually go with the defensive stuff. If you want to say closing down, you probably want to say about there. Yeah, stick to where it was default. Tackling will be normal. You want to run with the ball, cross the ball sometimes. Passing style. Let's see. You probably want to move that up, probably a touch towards direct, but not so much where it's still mixed. You want it still to say mixed, but probably a bit more direct than short, but still mixed, if that makes sense. And you probably want it to run from deep. Oh, you can only. I'd leave that for normal. So there you go then. So that's just my little quick tactics video. I hope you have learned something from this. Also, obviously, getting you ready for the Let's Play. Now, if you are after tactics and you are coming here to learn a few things, or hopefully if you have, as I say, then you can of course feel free to click off the video now. However, if you are interested in obviously learning about the Let's Plays and so on, why I'm sort of stalling, if you will, to do the Let's Plays, here's why. I'm hopefully going to be getting a new computer within the next week or so. As I say, I've mentioned before about an iMac, or maybe a Mac Mini. I might hook Mac Mini up to my big telly and see what happens there. Imagine that, HDMI, Football Manager on your telly, how amazing would that look? So I'm thinking about maybe doing that. And what I don't want to do is start a Let's Play, get like 5 episodes in, and find that I can't transfer to the full game because it's a PC save or it's a Mac save. I don't know if the two are compatible or not, and then obviously having to transfer the game over to a new system and and all this type of thing. I really don't want to hassle. So if you can just hold out for a few more days, obviously a lot of people were saying, can you start now? I realise I will start as soon as possible, okay? Obviously a few people were saying hang fire as well, due to the fact obviously there might be a few bugs. So I just want to point that out there. That is why I haven't started yet. I'm going to be getting a new computer. I'd rather start the save on that computer as opposed to just starting it on this and have a few sort of 3, 4 or 5 jerky episodes where it's all a bit, it obviously, the quality is never absolutely perfect on this computer. Bear in mind, it's not really a gaming computer. It's just an office laptop, really. And obviously I'm going to be getting a Mac, which is not, okay, again, it's not really a gaming computer, but, this, if I'm honest, is not exactly a heavy game for a computer to run. So, yeah, that's all I've got to say on that, really. So, hopefully going to be getting a new computer soon, in the next week. If Apple announce, obviously, as of recording this, they are going to hopefully announce some sort of new Mac, whatever the hell it's going to be, tomorrow. So, that's going to do it for me then. So thanks for watching this. Hope this has whetted your appetite and maybe learned something. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.